Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by the Angel of Darkness, Anastasia Morningstar. So thanks for joining us today, Anastasia.
Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So Anastasia, I discovered you in July at Titan Championship Wrestling, and your match was phenomenal. It was dark, creepy, scary, everything that I look for in a match. So I was like, I gotta have this, girl on the show. So let's get started with some of these questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. So Anastasia, what inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Good question. There's so many people that influenced me, but the one person that influenced me the most was the devil himself. Here on this earth, causing people pain is looked down upon, but we figured out a loophole. So if I start wrestling, I can hurt people, and people won't look at me like I'm crazy. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Mm. I like that because that is a good excuse to hurt people because that's what you're supposed to do in the ring. So I really like that. And speaking of the devil, I noticed on your bio you said that you are half devil and half goddess. So explain to me how that happened.
Long story short, my upbringing wasn't the best. And then one day I met Lucifer himself, and he guided me on this path. And since then, there hasn't been any complications, and I haven't looked back. My life has been better since I found him.
So how did you find him?
Well, my mother, she was dying. I didn't have a father. And he came to me one day and said he'll help me. And once I gave myself into the darkness, everything became better.
Good reason. I really like that. And also like speaking of the devil, how does it feel being the devil's chosen one?
Phenomenal. The immense power I have. And it's funny, so many people are skeptical. But once they step into the ring, they see his true power because I am a vessel of his power.
That's quite interesting. So, with all that power that you have and all the different, competition out there, what are some of the wrestlers that you want to, go against, so they become your next victims?
I definitely want to rematch against Mother Endless. She got lucky at the last Titan show. Other people I want to go against, Jessica Havoc, and definitely Su Young.
I think there'll be some fun matches to do. Speaking of Mother Endless at Titan Championship Wrestling, is there any chance that you will be competing at the next Goddesses of War event?
We shall see.
I hope so, because I will most likely be there, and I would love to see a rematch between you two there. And just hopefully this time she doesn't get lucky and you come off as the victor.
Yes. Definitely use Mr. Brew more effectively this time.
So for my next question, I'm assuming that at Titan Championship Wrestling, that was your first event since COVID. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So how did it feel getting back into the ring for the first time in several months?
I've missed hurting people, and I got to use Mr. Crow, and he has been on hiatus himself. Mr. Crow hasn't hurt anyone in a while. So to come back with him and hurt Mother was amazing.
So tell me a little bit more about Mr. Crow.
So I met Mr. Crow last year at this promotion, Bronx Wrestling Federation. We first met after I used him to hurt another wrestler knee. So I slammed Mr. Crow into her knee, and we haven't heard of her again. And since that night, we've been like two peas in a pod. I use him everywhere.
That seems really interesting. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. I don't think that's someone I want to meet. I value my life a lot. So, I mean, it's glad that you two got a good relationship, but that's really risky for me. So, I mean, I'm glad you had Mr. Crow.
Well, Mr. Crow is nice to people who are nice to him. So if we like you, you're fine.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a big fan, so I would hope that he would like me if I like you. But sometimes your sidekick and all that can be a little protective. So I'm glad that you both like me.
Yeah, you're safe.
And now for the last question. So what does the future hold for Anastasia Morningstar?
Well, the future is going to have more of me. We're going to travel more across the states, across the world. And me and Mr. Crow is going to wreak havoc.
Good. That's the plan. You gotta travel so you can collect more souls, take down more victims, and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that from you. And Anastasia, I think that wraps up our interview. I just have to thank you so much. This was a very, bone chilling and interesting interview. Definitely one of the, I'll have to say, darker episodes that I've done. So it was definitely fun having you part of the show.
Thank you for having me. You're very few people that actually understand me and Mr. Crow. Most people look at us like we're crazy, but you get us.
I do. I tend to gravitate toward, wrestlers like you with your, whole persona and all that. I like the dark and scary and creepy and statistic wrestlers. That's my style. So, you fit what I'm looking for.
We appreciate that.
No problem at all. And Anastasia, did you want to share any of your social media with any of the listeners?
Well, if anyone listening wants to follow the darkness just like I did, or see more of me wreaking havoc in the ring, all social media is Anastasia Morningstar. Except on Twitter, it's Anna Morningstar with 2 R's at the end. You can follow me on there.
All right, so make sure you all follow Anastasia on all social media platforms. And also make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And that will wrap up our episode with Anastasia Morningstar. So once again, thank you so much, Anastasia, for joining us today on O Face Wrestling.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all.